My guest served 4 years in the Air Force. He's president and CEO of Old Glory Bank. Please welcome to the program, Mike Ring. So, Mike, we didn't finish off the clip. Trump further on went and said, I had to put my money in these little community banks, 10 million here, 20 million here, 30 million here. He said it was ridiculous. He has an alternative. It's called Old Glory Bank.
It's driving us crazy, right, Larry? And by the way, I'd let the audience know I technically work for you since you're on the board of Old Glory Bank. So thank you for having me on tonight. And we've got so many people that President Trump knows, from you, from Sean Spicer, who's on our board, used to work with him, from Secretary Carson, from Bill Shine, who was in his administration. President Trump, I'm easy to find. It's Mike Ring at oldglorybank.com. We would love to bank you, and you would have never have had any of these problems that you've had at first. Let's not go easy on Jamie Dimon. He was the first person that canceled Trump, where he even had to go to Bank of America, where we're now making fun of Moynihan for, I believe, not telling the truth as to what actually happened.
Yeah, it was kind of a non-denial denial. The host on CNBC told him what Trump said, and he goes, "Well, things have happened."
AML, BSA,
yeah.
KYC, start throwing off letters. It'd be like if someone sees me and they say, "Hey, I saw you with another man's woman last night," and instead of me saying, "No, you didn't, never happened," I said, "Well, there's a lot of reasons I could have been with another man's woman." And so clearly, he's not respectfully telling America the truth about this issue. It was his decision to cancel President Trump, or not bank him.
Now, Mike, you've thrown down the gauntlet, a $100,000 gauntlet. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so I was spitting mad. If you guys haven't seen my post, thank you for reposting it. And then John Rich has reposted it. I was just spitting mad when I saw this on CNBC. And I went out and I said, listen, Moynihan, you are not being honest with America public. And I am betting you in a charity of your choice, $100,000. And it's my money. It's not coming from the bank. It's my money. And if you come on my podcast, PSL or Larry's show, and you tell us the truth about this issue, because you claim it was AML, BSA, KYC, and reputational risk. And I'm going to quickly tell you why each of those are not true. One is what he's talking about with BSA is the Bank Secrecy Act. And so folks know, has nothing to do with your secrets at banking. It actually should be called the Bank Snooping Act, because it requires banks to watch your transactions. And what that means is anti-money laundering. That's the AML, he said. He actually said ML because he was so nervous. It should have been AML. And for him to suggest that the reason why they could not bank Donald Trump was because of money laundering is not intellectually honest. There is no way you could say that President Trump is at risk of money laundering, terrorist financing, or any of those financial crimes. Then he says KYC, which means know your customer. Like, does anyone think that they don't know who Donald Trump is and he's some imposter trying to open a bank account at Bank of America? So there's no way it was AML. There was no way it was BSA. There's no way it was KYC. And then he says reputational risk, and that's the catch-all that he could have used. And this is not real for this reason. This is part of my challenge to him. Come on my podcast. I'll give you $100,000 to a charity of your choice if you prove me wrong. Reputational risk is not written in any law, in any regulation. It was, I call it a shadow law by the regulators, the bureaucrats put in their exam guidance. But if it actually happened, that means someone would have had picked up the phone and called Moynihan and said, either from the White House or from a regulator, and said, you can't bank Donald Trump. And I am right now calling out Chairman Tim Scott, who I love, from the great state of South Carolina, to send a letter to Moynihan and to Jamie Dimon at Chase Morgan and say, tell us who told you to debank Donald Trump. Because if it's reputational risk, someone had told you. Because it was your decision, then you need to man up and tell the truth.
Now, Mike, I'm confident they would not have pulled this stunt had they not been confident that Donald Trump was not going to get reelected. They thought he was done. He was finished. He would never come back. The man retained control over the Republican Party and came back, becoming the only the second president to win non-consecutive terms. They had no blooming idea that was going to happen. Oops.
You're so right, Larry. And could you imagine where we would be today if that would have actually happened? None of these people would be getting religion. Now, remember, just a couple of years ago when you and I were working hard with Secretary Carson, John Rich, to launch Old Glory Bank, first it was, there's no debanking happening, never happened. All the people were calling us crazy. And the big banks were openly denying having ever debanked someone. And now they're saying, well, of course there was debanking. And now everyone's admitting there was debanking, but it's the regulators. And that's what I call BS on. Listen, no one attacks, no one likes to beat on the regulators more than me, and I'm not always fair in my beating on them, but it's just part of what I do. But I will tell you, And we have openly said that we banked John Eastman, his former lawyer, openly banked Simone Gold, who was canceled, openly banked Jay Sixers. Not one time has a regulator ever called you, me, or any of our board members and said, you can't bank these people. It is a lie. This is the bank's choice, and someone needs to make them account for their actions. And that's America by banking with Old Glory Bank, our bank.
Now, Old Glory Bank has a brick and mortars bank in Oklahoma. It is online, operates in all 50 states. Everything that your bank can do, we can do, and better, except for one other thing. We offer a $100,000 line of duty insurance policy for active duty military and first responders. As far as I know, no other bank does that.
They can, and it's all protectors. It's volunteer firefighters, active duty firefighters, guard, reserve, law enforcement. And thanks to Kash Patel, our friend Kash Patel taking over the FBI, we've included it to be federal law enforcement. Our friend Tom Honan over at the Border Czar, we cover Border Patrol agents. So please bank with us. Support the protectors who protect you.
OldGloryBank.com. It takes about 8 minutes to open up an account. I opened up an account for a friend of mine. I took 7.5 minutes, so I did it under 8 minutes. We only have a little bit of time left. Mike, please explain to me why somebody would not want to do business with the former president. Even if you hate his guts, it's Donald Trump. And this crazy lawsuit that Letitia James brought, no bank had a problem with dealing with him. He paid back the principal, paid back the interest. So why wouldn't anybody want to do business with Donald Trump? So Bank of America cut him off after he no longer was president? Who does that and why?
Yeah, and you said earlier, it's actually JP Morgan, Chase, Jamie Dimon. Someone needs to reach out to him from government and say, tell us the administrator or the bureaucrat who said you had to terminate Donald Trump's accounts. I want to know their name, and they need to be held accountable because I don't believe it. I believe it was Jamie Dimon's decision, and it was Moynihan's decision not to take him. The reason why is they thought he would lose. And if he would have lost, we'd all still be being persecuted. Thank God he won.
So J.P. Morgan debanked him, and Jamie Dimon would not take his accounts. So
J.P. Morgan is CEO is Jamie Dimon.
Right.
So J.P. Morgan debanked him, which had to be Jamie Dimon. There's no way you debank the former president without it going to Jamie Dimon. And then Brian Moynihan, the weak CEO, and I'm calling him the weak CEO because he won't tell the truth on this issue, wouldn't take his business.
Wow.
We'll take your business, President Trump.
10 seconds. Did Dimon ever admit what he did?
No, he in the few times, and I did a great podcast on this, the few times he talks about it, he used to say it never happened, and then he says it was the regulators. It's a lie.
Mike Ring, CEO, Old Glory Bank, oldglorybank.com. Mike, thanks a lot for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you, boss.